Hello, magical ones. Welcome to the podcast. And this is the Fairy Witch. And this is part 2 of my video that I did earlier of where I talked about what is fairy witchcraft or fairy craft magic, actually. And I hadn't planned on doing a part 2, but then I thought, you know what? I really didn't elaborate on a few things, and I thought I'd better do that. So hence we're doing the second video. So if you saw the thumbnail on the first video, you saw a bunch of items on there, and I know I mentioned it in the description box that a lot of those items are what I use in my practice. I just didn't talk about them in the video, which was a little bit of a blunder on my part. So anyway, I'm going to show you my other working table in my magic room here. And these are some of the items which I neglected to mention I do use in my magical practice pretty regularly. So for me, like I say, this is all from my own perspective. If you practice or going to practice, you might do different things. So I know I mentioned in the first video, I incorporate, gardening and the artwork and all the other that I do. So these are different forms of the artwork. So candle magic is very important. This is one of the candles that I made, and it's the sunflower candle. It has sunflower petals in it from the sunflowers that I grow. But I also buy candles when I'm able to. So I've got some cheaper store-boughts. Then I've got some nicer ones, more fancier ones from the stores. But I use candles all the time, almost every day. So candle magic is very important to me. But I also make my own flower petal and herb jars. And I use these in my spells. So herbs is something I use almost every single time too. And like I say, I make them. I can actually make the herbs, or I can buy them from the store. Then I mix and make a spell. So I've got different ones in here. Let me show you, because sometimes I do sell them. So like this one here, this one is a banishing spell. And this has got all the herbs in it that you would need for, banishing a protection spell. This one is a healing jar. So this one is for all herbs. They're supposed to promote healing and help you get better from an illness or whatever. So I have some of those. I've got a love spell one down here. This one is the happiness little spell jar. And I've got different herbs and spices in here that promote being happy and, being successful. Maybe this one is the good luck and prosperity jar. So I've got some of these. So I make my own, and like I say, I do sell some of them. This one is the little sunflower sage. And so again, this one is for promoting happiness and creativity. So I use the herbs a lot. And then the other thing is I use crystals, excuse me, and I don't have a whole bunch of them, but I have some. And so like some basics that you need is just get some clear quartz, which is what this is. And I have a clear selenite, and I think I showed that one already. But I do use wands. I have 2 wands. This is my unicorn wand. And then I have a green man wand. And each wand is designated for certain spells. So like this one might be for creativity and happiness and good luck. Whereas the green man one is more for helping grow prosperity, have more, bring more good luck, bring good health, help me with my sunflower growing, where it actually is literally for the plants outside. The other thing I use is incense, and I don't use that all the time. I do have it burning right now, and this one is a fairy dust blend that I bought. So occasionally I will use the incense. I don't use it all the time. The other thing I do, the other thing I do is I keep fairy journals. And so this is like my fourth one. It takes, if I work in it regularly, it takes me a year to fill it, to fill one of these. And this is an artist hardbound sketchbook. And I like to use the sketchbooks because sometimes I will do artwork. Sometimes I will do, do the art pages here. I might do scrapbooking. I might do a painting or sketching. I've got some of my multimedia pieces. I write poems. I do plans for different things I want to do. And a lot of it is like a journal. I write down my thoughts, what I did for the day that was related to my fairy practice or getting in touch with the fairies, or maybe I worked in the fairy garden that day. Maybe I did a painting. All of that's anything related to fairies I will put in the journal. Plus anything that I've read, like a source book, or maybe I'm doing a review of a novel I read, or maybe I wrote down poems, something I want to save, that kind of thing, all goes into the fairy journal. So I will do a video all about the fairy journals, and I hope you'll check that out later. But again, journaling is something I do frequently. I used to do it every day. I've not been lately. I need to catch up. But yeah, that's something else I really work with. I also work with tarot cards. I like tarot cards. Thing is, I'm not religiously attached to them. I know I should do them every day or at least once a week, and I don't. But I do have 3 or 4 decks, and 3 are fairy related. 1 is a unicorn, and I think all of them are Doreen Virtue's cards, which sadly she's not making anymore, but I do have some, and I'm glad I have them, so I do use them occasionally. Then the other thing I use is poppets. Now, I am a knitter. I've been knitting for, 20 years. So I make these little poppets, and I do sell them, but I make these little poppets, and these little guys, I can use them for a spell. I often make fairy dolls. I am going to show you a video of just my fairy dolls at some point, but I can show you one here because he's sitting here. This is Thistlewick. And so this is my own pattern, and even though he's not really a poppet, he's a fairy doll, and I do sell them, and each one is unique. I never repeat the same design. He's got wings, but this is my little fairy dolls. But again, see, the fairies are influencing me to do my fairy art, and that is one of the aspects I do is the dolls. But the poppets, yes, I do use the poppets and spells. I have my moon poppet, which I showed you in the moon magic, the super blue moon video. Check that one out if you haven't already. That one I show you my moon poppet doll. And he's always designated for the lunar magic spells. Then other things is my other artwork. Like I say, I do paintings. So this is one of my originals, and I also do embroidery, and this is one of the first ones I've ever done. I have gotten a little better technically, but I've kept it, and I'm going to use it on some other project someday. But I do embroider, so this is still kind of new to me. I've only been doing it maybe half a year, so I'm still new. But again, I'm trying to show you that you can pick a form of art. You can do artwork, like the big artwork I did there. You can, here's another one that I did. And I notice it's tipping. Let me fix that while I'm here. There we go. So I've got, this is another original artwork, all done with fabric and paint. So please respect copyright. But this is, and I've got my dolls, my paintings. Oops, another little embroidery. So, I'm using my knitting and my painting. I'm using the candle making, the soap making. I am going to do a video showing you how to make some soaps. That will be coming in the future. But I do make soaps, so you use a little beauty magic to it, So again, I'm using my different forms of art that I've been doing over the years in my practice. And, I make fairy gardens, like these little fairy garden pots. Let me show you one. Oh, whoops. Like this little guy. Bring him out, I could see him. So you make little fairy gardens in this little ceramic, pot. And then, of course, I make the bigger ones, which I've shown you the first one. I haven't shown you the flower bed one yet. That one will be coming. But, I'm using my forms of art. So, that, again, it's important to use your art form. And if you don't have one, if you've never done any craft or never done any art, that's okay. Pick up one. Pick one you like. Does soap making appeal to you? Maybe you want to make a candle. Maybe you want to learn to be a sketch artist and start doing drawings. I do that too. Maybe you want to start painting, keep a journal. Anybody can do that. And you don't have to be intimidated by starting one. Just pick it up and start. Grab a tarot deck if you want to. You want to work with herbs? Start buying herbs and flower petals. And then buy a book about the herbs and buy a book about flowers and the magical significance. And then start, making your own. Make your own spell jars if you want to. You're a knitter, you're a crocheter. Use your work like I've been doing, like I say, with the dolls, the puppets, or whatever. Start making your own items that you want to do. You can knit a magical scarf. You could knit a necklace. You can knit a shawl. You could knit a hat or crochet. Make a crochet kitty. As your little poppet. That kind of thing. Working with familiars is also something you can do. I admit I have cats, in the yard, and then we have 2 that actually belong to us that live here in the house. And Charcoal and Little Fairy, they don't really help me with my magical practice. They're here, and they seem to like the magical stuff. Like Fairy likes to come in here in the magic room and roam around. Charcoal does too. Occasionally she'll hide in here, but they don't join me in doing the spells. Now, some animals will if you want to do that. But again, you can work with familiars. You can work with animal spirits. I don't do that as much, very, very rarely. But I kind of focus more with the art and the craft, And crafting, you can do anything. You can make fairy gardens. You could, buy a doll kit and make a doll. You can, scrapbooking. You could build houses, buy doll houses and all the little furniture and everything and build your own fairy house. It's a great project. It can be expensive, but it's a great project. Sketching, bead making, jewelry making, definitely. The fairies love sparkly things, so you can make little offerings for them. Or just, make your own jewelry, and then you add your intention to it and enchant it, and you wear it, and it'll help you feel better and get through the day better, bring you better luck, whatever spell you want to attach to that particular jewelry item. So, you can do all sorts of things. And, pretty much any form of art or craft, you can make it into a fairy magic craft item. And you can focus on that, or you can do a whole bunch of different things, or just do it as you need it, that kind of thing. So don't be intimidated. Don't be afraid. Take a class. If you've never done anything and you just want a background, take a class on whatever it is you're interested in and start in, You can make it as elaborate and, detailed and as expensive as you want, or you can keep it as simple as you need to, So, don't be afraid to get into your magical practice or start your magical practice. Or maybe you've given it up and you're thinking of going back to it. Great, do it. Don't be afraid to. So again, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit and talk a little bit more about what I do, what I work with, because like I say, my whole artwork and everything that I've been doing for years now really centers around fairies, fairyland, promoting happiness, promoting connection with the fairies, and just trying to be more magical, just trying to be more into nature, to feel better, to have a better sense of self for myself and be happier, and just try to get through the day, which can be very challenging and hard for me. So again, I just really made this room over into my fairy little room and magic room. And, again, this is important to me. So this is what I do, and this is how I work with it. And then that way, I'm always connecting with the fae. I need to be more mentally in tune to it so that I'm listening more for them. But at the same time, these things are all like, they're like the phone cord to get to the other person. You just have to, keep the connection clear, keep it clean, and, stay with it and call every day. And that way you stay connected. And that's what I do. That's how my practice works. That's why I do it. So again, I use my knitting and the painting and the candle making, the embroidery, the tarot, the wands, the crystals, everything that you see here, along a couple other things, to stay connected and to be more magical, to be happier. And again, it's up to you what you want to do, but give it a shot. And I really hope that you'll have a much better and happier connection with the fairies from now on. And again, if you're brand new to the practice, great, welcome, get into it, get some books, watch videos, but then make it your own practice. Like I said in the last video, you got to make it your own. Don't feel you've got to model it exactly after me or anybody else you might be watching or listening to. Just use all of us as your guides and go from there and expand on it, change it, add to it, make it yours. And that way it'll be more powerful, it'll be more connecting, you'll have more insight, you'll want to do it, you'll enjoy it. It's not meant to be a job or a chore, it's meant to be something that you look forward to doing every day. So don't be afraid to, get out there to your fairy garden or make one, get out and do your yard work and plant some plants, plant some flowers, grow a sunflower, anything, even just cleaning up the yard and letting them know that the fairies know, hey, I'm doing this, I'm cleaning it up for you and for me. I hope it makes it better for everybody, and it'll give you a sense of worth, give you a sense of accomplishment, and you'll step back and go, okay, that looks so much better. And then you'll want to decorate it, you'll want to work in it, and that's great. Connecting to nature, that's the way to do it. So I hope you find this video interesting. I hope it added a little bit more to the first one. Again, if you didn't see part 1, please go back and check that one out. But thank you so much for watching this. I really do appreciate it. I hope you found it some inspirational. And again, if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments. If you'd like to donate to our channel, that would be fantastic. I have a PayPal link on the channel here. It's listed right below the channel name. Just go up. It's in blue writing. Just click on that, or you can copy and paste it into your search bar, and it'll take you to paypal.com. And you just click to it and just add a little note on there that you're sending a donation. That would be fabulous, just so I know. And I thank you so much. In the meantime, have a fairy day. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.